How's everyone doing? This is Joe with Ohio Wood Burner. I'm going on a delivery today, guys. Let me show you what we got going on. We have a load of oak, and this is going to a barbecue restaurant. They smoke with oak. They only want oak. And you know how I feel about oak. Well, the terms and the situation was ideal for this guy, and it's working out for both of us. This is going down the road. I'm going to ask you guys to come along with me. We'll talk about restaurants. I get a lot of questions about restaurants and how to approach them, how to manage them with your firewood delivery. And I thought we can discuss that. But the other thing going on, guys, it is hot. Man, is it hot. It is so hot. The chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs, guys. And the other thing going on, we got this air alert, and it is bad. You can feel it. Yesterday was horrible, and you can smell the smoke in the air, and it's just been a weird few days here. It's supposed to all blow out here by the end of the week, but now all this heat is coming in. Here's the challenge, though. We're going to be delivering oak firewood in the heat. You guys can come on along and maybe bring your gloves. You can help me out. Let's go. Restaurants are like passive income. It's just like if you own real estate, your rentals, except you got to work for it. But it is, restaurants have their own level of consumption. You can predict it, and you can project what you're going to make each month, how much you're going to deliver to them. And it's nice in a seasonal industry like firewood to have this recurring income throughout all 12 months. And restaurants was a blind spot for me when I first started. I had not a clue about selling firewood to restaurants. My vision was high-end residential, small quantities. And then my very first customer was a restaurant. And then everything changed from there. Can you sell to restaurants? Yes, you can. I think, though, there's a level of professionalism that you should engage in, which will make it easier for you to get agreements with restaurants. And we can talk about that when we get down here unloading this oak. Here you go, guys. You can see the smoke in the background. It has gotten pretty bad this week. Very unfortunate. We are here, and this gets to right at the very beginning, guys. Some of these places are hard to get into, and what do you deliver with? And this is where I don't know if I could bring a trailer to this place, because how would I? That's a very tough job. It'd be a nice challenge, but I don't want to have to be messing with anything like that with a trailer. So it helps that this place is set up for a half-core delivery, and I can fit a half-core in my truck, and it works out good for me. When you are looking at a restaurant, guys, you want to see the woodshed and what it's going to take to deliver, and make sure that you are able to make it happen efficiently without ruining your equipment or tearing up their place. And they are out, you know. Don't ever underestimate the role that you play with these businesses, guys. You are very important to them. And a restaurant isn't just a place to sell firewood. It is a commitment, because if I can't get here, they're sunk, you know. How can they smoke wood and satisfy their customers without this wood supply? So remember the commitment that you have with a restaurant. You got to go and you got to be there. The other thing too, a lot of these restaurants, they forget. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, you know how tough it is with the pace of the business. It's easy for them to forget the firewood order. And that's where, when I'm with a restaurant long enough, I just get a sense on their consumption, and then I'll know if I haven't heard from them. I'll check in and make sure that they're doing okay. And I cannot stress enough professional invoices, guys. When I talked about that level of professionalism that will help you out with getting a restaurant, it starts with invoices. A restaurant is very big on tracking their expenses, and they've got to have these invoices to help them do that. And it helps you, because a lot of these deliveries are recurring, and it's always the same quantity, same dollar amount, and there might be a check missed. You don't know which one it is. But when you're invoiced, each invoice has its own specific number. It's easier to track that way. So here's what I got to do. I'm going to go get checked in with the manager. They'll come inspect my load. We'll get it stacked, and then we'll head on down the road. Before I go any farther, I still get comments on old videos about, Joe, that's not a half a quart. Well, let's do the math here, guys. The truck bed is 5 foot 2 inches wide. It's 2 foot tall. Each stick of firewood is 16 inches or 1.3 feet. And there are 5 rows of firewood. That comes out to 65 cubic feet of firewood. Let's account for the wheel wells. A half a quart of firewood is 64 cubic feet. One thing I have never been accused of is bringing the incorrect amount. My quantities are spot on. I don't believe in delivering more or less with any order. If you order a half a quart, you get a half a quart. There is a recurring belief that you always give the customer a little bit more, and I disagree. I think you give them exactly what they ordered. The challenge would be if you gave them a little bit more, but the next delivery you bring them exactly the exact quantity, they're going to think that they got shorted, and that's not a good position to be in. So I believe in quantities. I don't sell my firewood by any other quantity except a cord or a fraction of a cord. All of these other quantities, a rick, a rack, a face cord, you know, I go by 1 quart, half quart, thirds, quarters, sixths, bundles, whatever, but my quantities are correct. This is how I do it. I just pull the wood away from the sides because I have this unloader. Guys, it's the best $30 I've ever spent. It saves a lot of extra work. I'm not jumping in and out of the truck. I get a lot of questions too about what do you charge, you know? That is the $64 question. I don't know, make it work for you, make it work for the account. You can't charge too little, you can't charge too much. My prices for restaurants are all over the place. And I think the biggest factors are what kind of species, like oak, that makes the price go up. How easy is it to load? Do you have to go upstairs? Do you have to use a wheelbarrow? All of that plays a role in it. What's their volume? Some restaurants, the high volume makes the price go down. Others make the price go up. I'm serious. I have a big range in prices of all my restaurants. But what I have found though is that recurring amount is the big deal for me. It keeps me moving. It keeps me busy, and it really does help the overall health and the worth of your company. I cannot stress this enough, guys. You are a very important part of a restaurant's operation. You must commit to this relationship, and through all the ups and downs. You know, restaurants change management, they change employees, some things change, and my understanding, or the way I see restaurants too, they're busy, man, and they're always chasing their tail, and it's so easy for them to forget. And when you show up in the middle of a day and they know that you're checking out their woodshed, just keeping up on their quantity, that sends a real big message to them. If anyone is trying to win that account and steal it from you. Those are the relationships that you can build when you know that you're partnered with them to help them with their success, not just you're just selling them firewood. I've learned this about restaurants too, guys. You get instant street cred when you are the delivery service to a restaurant. It looks great on your social media. It sends a message to everyone else, even your residential customers, that, you know, if this restaurant down the street trusts me to deliver their firewood, I think a homeowner can depend on me to be a good service for them. That's the way it worked out for me. My first customer was a restaurant, and I didn't appreciate it at the time, but now looking back on it, guys, it just gave me instant credibility. I was a major player here in the valley that I live in, and the moment I got my first restaurant, it wasn't my first restaurant for long. I got my second restaurant on my very first delivery to that first restaurant. Talk about commitment though, guys. You're gonna go on a family vacation. Well, guess what? You need to check out on your restaurants, make sure that they're not gonna run out while you're out of town. And I just have that sense, and I know which restaurants are in play when I'm gonna take a vacation. I'll call them up. I've even brought them a half of a load because it was just enough to get them through their next order, and there wasn't enough room in the woodshed to bring a full load. All of these little things that you do for your restaurant. And like I said, guys, the best $30 I've ever spent is right here. What I like about this is it saves my back, it saves my knees and ankles, and it's also good for the customer. It keeps all the crud off of their ground. It saves me from extra effort having to sweep up when I'm done. The only thing that I got to do that's extra effort is I got to pull it away from the wheel wells, but that's nothing. And once I get that done, I'm able to pull it right to the tailgate and just get it put into the woodshed. Just like this, guys. And from here, it's just a matter of getting it unloaded. The other thing too is you got to pay attention to the weather, especially in the wintertime here where I live. It pays to coordinate because a lot of the plow drivers, they don't know where the woodshed is. I've showed up to deliver wood with a big pile of snow right in front of the woodshed. Obviously right now we don't have to worry about snow, but the same thing. Pouring rain, storms, you know, you have your delivery schedule. I have the one truck. If I don't have it ready to be loaded for another delivery, you know, the wood's got to get delivered and come back and get loaded up for the next one. I try to be self-sufficient too, and that means I have a change of clothes in my truck. As you know, you get hot and sweaty, and I don't like driving home in soaking wet clothes. Keep extra gloves with me. I keep a big jug of water with me, and you always got to be concerned with your appearance. Are you really going to walk into your valued customer's restaurant just drenched in sweat to use the restroom? Still clean myself up. If I do have to use the restroom, I'll change my clothes before I go in. All these little things about being a world-class delivery service. And then through the end of it, guys, I am right here at my very last row, and we're just going to finish up this delivery, change my shirts, and then we'll head on down the road. But the woodshed's getting full. We're delivering oak in hot weather. Just think though, in a few months from now, I'll be complaining about how cold it is. If you are the type that complains about all of the exertion, it's funny, by the time you're done complaining, you're all done delivering the firewood. And what really helped me here was the team came out with a cart and took a bunch of wood out of the back of my truck to take it straight in. It saved me some extra sticks that I had to stack. And just like that, guys, we are done. My invoices are in the manager's hands. They got their wood. We can head on out. And that is how it's done, guys. Whoever invented air conditioning, guys, is my best friend. So we're done with this delivery, and I'm just gonna head on back to the wood yard. We have production to do. but then this truck's going to be loaded again tonight for a delivery in the morning, and then we're going to do it all over again. I want to thank you for coming along on the ride with me. Next time, bring your gloves so you can help me stack. I could use it this time of year. All right, guys, everyone have a great day.